morning, everyone. This is Steve with Christian Geeks Rockcast. I wanted to jump on and record a real quick special episode on this Wednesday morning, March 13th. I really felt compelled to do this as quickly as I could while I still have a lot on my mind. Found out last night before I went to bed that Mike Knott had passed away. And a lot of people know Mike Knott from, his solo work, Lifesavers, LSU, LS Underground, Kush, Aunt Betty, Strung Gurus, and just, Bombay Babies. He had a ton of different musical outputs. And this one affected me especially hard, I think, because of sort of the profound impact he had on me from the standpoint of understanding what it's like to sort of push the boundaries a little bit, push the envelope, do things a little outside the norm. We talked about it. We did an episode on Shaded Pain, and I talked about, lots of memories of that album. And I had listened to Kiss of Life by Lifesavers quite a bit before Shaded Pain came out. But when Shaded Pain came out, it hit me a little different because of how dark it was, how, within the sort of melancholy, there was, some redemption, and there was a lot to it there. And as Mike Knott has worn on, like we all have, he's become more of a complicated individual probably. And, I saw him several times over the years with, different iterations of the band, and, Cornerstone 91 was an incredible show. It was the first time I'd ever seen him before, and I was just blown away. And I saw him in Atlanta a few times at different, festivals and just concert venues and things. Just an incredible performer. He was just the consummate artist. He was always putting on a show for people, and not in a weird negative way. He just wanted to give his, put everything he had on stage at all times. And he was a broken man in many ways. And again, we all are in our own ways for sure. But he always, he always would come back and shine a light on Christ. And for that, I'm truly thankful, and I'm thankful that he was there, honestly, because we talk about a lot of different artists on this podcast and how they were able to sort of break out of a shell that the quote unquote Christian industry was putting them in. And some people fit in that shell, and some people want to be in that shell, and some people want the product that is produced out of that shell, and that's all fine. But then there's a lot of people who are like, you know what, we're Christians and we want to hear music from a more human perspective, from a more like we want that experience. Good, the bad, the ugly. We want it. We kind of want that, and understand that people understand us. And he was one of the first to really do that. And I recall I saw him in Marietta, Georgia, back in the 90s sometime, right before Rocket and a Bomb came out. And he was just gloating about the fact that he was about to put an album out that was distributed by Word Records. I mean, he just thought that was the funniest thing, because he's such a he was such an irritant, I think, to a lot of the Christian music industry. I mean, so much so. I mean, he created his own label, Blonde Vinyl Records, and just he had some of the most interesting, creative artists on that label. And put out some really, really great music for an indie label that was, excuse me, like very, very small. So, anyway, I just have a lot of great memories of his music, and I never really knew him personally, but I kind of felt like I did. I think we all felt like we did in a lot of ways. So, yeah, if you own his music, play it today. If you if you want a piece of his art, cherish that, hang it on your wall, and just yeah. Don't have a lot to say. I mean, I do have a lot to say, but I really don't. It's yeah. Rest in peace, Mike. And thank you for all you brought to us.